And we are back. Joining us now is Kathy Elkins from Webb's Yarn Shop, and she has brought with her today a bevy of beautiful bags.
Hi Liz, I am so happy to be here with my beautiful bags.
Happy to have you.
Absolutely. Well, this, I have to say, is an original design that I did, the Vermont Felted Bag, and my customers have really done a beautiful job interpreting it to their own needs and desires. It uses a wool alpaca blend yarn, and I did it in a hand-dyed version. Some examples of that here that are just beautiful and fun to knit with. And
how does the alpaca affect the finished process?
You know, the alpaca felts beautifully, just like a wool fiber would, but it does give a little bit more of a fuzzy finish here, and that's from the alpaca. But it felts like a dream in the washing machine very quickly, very easily.
And we do have the instructions for the bag on our website.
Absolutely, so people can do it and knit it their own way, however they want.
And these buttons just add a beautiful finished touch.
You know, buttons, not just on this bag, but on any garment, can really make or break it, and it can really give you a design element that's all your own, and really your personality can come out. And I tend to go on the sparkly side of things, so I picked sparkly buttons for mine, of course. Nobody was surprised. Yes. This is another version that I actually knit for the store to show that it can be done in solids as well as in the variegateds. And it was done during the winter time when it was cold and gray up in New England, and tried to put a
little bit of the rainbow.
Little tropical look to it. Now the version up here is interesting because that is done using a yarn that is also 100% wool with a little bit of acrylic in it because it's a tweed, but because the gauge is slightly smaller than the original yarn that was chosen, that was at 4 3/4 stitches to the inch. Linda, who did the knitting on that, had to actually add some cast-on stitches and rows to the bag to get the approximate same size.
Yeah. And it's really nice with the tweedy yarn and that vintage-inspired button. It just adds
it's just a completely different look. This little mini bag was done by one of our customers using a 4 stitches to the inch yarn, and she knit the pattern exactly as it was written. So because it was a smaller gauge yarn with the same number of stitches in rows, it actually came out at a smaller size, which is what you would expect to happen. But again, it felted beautifully. It's 100% merino wool, and I think it's darling.
It is. It's very cute, and particularly compared to this bag, which I just can imagine stitching that one.
This is our supersized version. This is also done using a wool alpaca, but it's a bulky weight, and it was the stitches that were cast on were doubled to 68. The number of rows were doubled as well. The bottom, the knitter Melissa kept it the same because she didn't want it to be super wide because she knew the sizing would already be large. And this is just a great market bag, great you know, beach tote, kids' toys, that kind of thing if you're going on a play date. Very durable.
And very simple color work that's very effective.
She just used a very simple intarsia to do the color blocking, and you know, I think it's a very good example where you can take a very basic simple pattern and truly make it your own with whatever design elements and creativity that you want to add to it. I could almost see either this one or the other bag having some needle felting done to it too to add a little flair.
You could just keep going and going and going.
Absolutely.
Your knitting friends certainly are.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for bringing this clever design and on all the ingenuity from the folks out there in the knitting community.
Great. Thanks, Liz.
All right. That's it for our show today, and thanks for watching. Join us next time when we explore skinny yarns. And remember, make time for yarn every day.
Knitting Day. Make time for yarn every day. Projects, patterns, ideas, and techniques from today's show to help you make time for yarn every day can be found on the web at knittingdailytv.com. This is show 112. Continue knitting daily every day by joining the online Knitting Daily community and receive a free newsletter 5 times a week, filled with step-by-step techniques, inspiring reader-contributed stories, and free patterns. It's about knitting all the time. knittingdaily.com. Knitting Daily has been sponsored in part by Webb's, America's Yarn Store, the source for all your knitting and crocheting yarns and supplies, yarn.com.